let's get it. Game 3. And this time we're going to be taking a look at a modern classic from 2017 from the Chinese League. And our focus is going to be on one of my favorite players, Ding Liren. And we'll get right into it. And we have our second Nimzo Indian of the series. And as we discussed different principles before, we're going to find a completely different line here with knight f3 and bishop g5. And I like black's treatment here with c5. Same structural ideas as we had in game 1. And after e3, takes, queen takes, get a tempo off the queen, get a tempo off the bishop, and d5. Taking this opportunity to get things rolling in the center before white sets up a clamp with rook d1, preventing it. Now, rook d1 was played, and this is already a good moment to try to figure out what to do with black. What would you do? Hopefully you paused the video and found the necessity in playing the move g5 to break this pin. And the first move that came to mind for me when analyzing this position was the natural-looking queen a5. And upon further analysis, this is one of the main reasons why it's like Ding is black playing against another Chinese grandmaster who is 2550. And when you are knocking on the door of 2800, you're not interested in just making simple draws with black. You need to beat pretty much all low-rated players that you play. And this line with queen a5 has a lot of chopping that goes on. And when there's a lot of chopping, it takes away potential winning chances. And though this position is completely comfortable for black, it's hard to win from. And why this game makes my list? For numerous reasons. One, the innovative play and the risk-taking play that Ding shows here. And the fact that he's willing to live on the edge of the knife and play beautiful chess, aggressive chess in this game. It's very, very impressive. So knight e4 keeps tension in a different way. Where queen a5, well, I should say it actually keeps tension. Queen a5 doesn't keep tension at all. It just trades down, gets equality. Knight e4 keeps the position dynamic. And after knight d2, we see this theme continuing. If you want to outplay your opponent with black, you have to keep tension and keep placing pressure and complications. Knight c5. Keep placing pressure. d4, attacking. And after knight f3, e5. Keep the pressure. Of course, we could not capture on c3 due to this pin of the d-pawn. And after knight takes e5, this is probably when d4 was played, the elite master was considering this position. Now I'd like for you to take some time, and this one can be a moderate to a deep think. What are you doing with black and why? Okay? So hopefully you realize that there has been a major commitment by black to allow the capture on e5. So we're going to create a dirty, dirty imbalance here with d takes c3, allowing our queen to be captured. And now c takes b2. So this is a crazy position, easy to understand, and this next move by white was the blunder that ends up losing the game. White does have the ability to hold here, but it requires computer precision. So you can pause if you'd like to figure it out. I'm going to go ahead and show you. Rook d2 actually needs to be played where you're allowing the pin, which is so awkward. We don't normally do this in chess. Check. Now rook takes d2, where we do the big give back. And after bishop e6, we have a roughly balanced position. It's kind of ridiculous compared to the main game, what we have going on here. So after c takes b2 check, king e2 was played, and this was the blunder that eventually loses the game, as white needed to play this very intricate rook d2 line. After rook takes d8, queen takes b2, knight a4, still can't take anything, knight c3. White's king must venture forward, otherwise rook d1 could be a big threat. And now rook d4. Take my rook, sir. Don't you want to take my rook and lose your queen? Arrows. So h3 was played, trying to control the g4 square. So we're fighting over the g4 square. I want it, h5. And I love how, even though this was a very complicated queen sacrifice, it's typically simple ideas that lead the position once you've done the sacrifice. White needed to control g4 to prevent devastating tactics. Black's fighting over g4. So after bishop h2, we get our g4. And now we have to figure out a way to keep the attack rolling. How do you keep the attack rolling? Okay, hopefully you paused, figured it out. Rook d2 is the way to go. Again, using the tactical theme of fork in order to get the job done. And probably here, I don't necessarily want the queen as much as, I don't want to hang pawns and do that. Let's just take the queen. I was looking for some kind of beautiful mate, but tactics are not my strong suit, so no, it's just not there. So rook d2, queen b3 was played in the main game, knight e4, bishop e7, and let's see Ding find it, because needless to say, he's just better than me. King g7, and this is going to be useful as we're going to have that potential of our rook coming over at the right moment. After bishop f4, bishop f5, looking for the swing over. And I believe it was around here that check takes. Soon white resigns. After rook h8, knight takes, bishop g6, knight e5, bishop f5. Whew. Let's get that in instant replay, because I kind of lost my notes a little bit there. Bishop f5, after check, queen takes b7, and everything is where it needs to be here. Because if we notice, the black king, along with other pieces, are cutting off key squares. So all we need to do is add one more attacker to get the checkmate. So when bishop g5 is played, we're freeing up the square to be able to move our king to h4. So rook h8, we're again threatening mate. So after knight takes f7, it could be holdable. Nah, I don't think so. If king g7, but bishop g6, very, very strong. Knight e5 check with the sack back. Bishop f5. And it's just such a dirty checkmate. So dirty. It's not often in these lists you get to incorporate a modern game. Seems like every book that I pick up of like the top 100 games in chess history, it's like all games prior to 2000. And that's something that I would really like to see, is best games since 2000. What are the top 100 games since 2000? That would be a very interesting book. Might be an idea for my friends over at Chessable.